A Hoosier hello to all you folks back at home. Thanks for joining us on Across the Bricks this week. My name is Wade Knapp. I'm here with my co-host Aiden Varenkamp.
Yes,
I said it right this week.
Go.
Let's go.
All
How
right.
you doing, Aiden? You doing all right?
Well, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So
That's good. Yeah. We got a good weekend of racing to talk about.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of stuff, dude. So much happened over the weekend. We're in the flow of the racing season. It makes me happy.
Yes.
So I'll kick it over to you. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with DC and just get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they revealed the layout. It's a 7-turn course. I think it's 1.4 miles.
1.6.
1.6 miles. It's underwhelming, to say the least. I saw a lot of fans are disappointed, and I have to say I am one of those disappointed fans. I was expecting more. It looks okay, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they could have come up with something better. I understand, though, considering the circumstances, and like it's very difficult to plan a race there, but it doesn't look like a super interesting circuit.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it's going to go. I was quickly looking up Detroit circuit because that's the last circuit we got. That's only 9 turns. Yeah, which is obviously I feel like the difference between 7 and 9 is kind of significant there. 7 feels like there's not a lot, although it's only 2 more.
But Detroit feels like a good course.
The difference is that Detroit it's got 3 right-handers. It's just a bit more of like a street circuit.
One right-hand corner in DC.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it's going to go.
Almost all the turns are 90 degrees as well.
Yeah, there's a few ways to go about this because Detroit is the same way. Yeah. Basically, every corner at Detroit, except for that little chicane, is a 90-degree or 180-degree corner. Yeah. And I'm not too upset about that, especially because 90-degree corners make for really good passing zones.
They can.
And there is a significant amount of mid to long straights at this DC circuit.
The straights don't look super long. I'm worried if there's not going to be that many heavy braking
main
zones.
straight.
Yeah.
There is.
I don't know.
I think
there's not a lot of heavy braking.
2 will be the main straights between 1 and 2, which is weird. Yeah. I kind of wish they put the main 1 was. It's weird. I wish all the corners were shifted 1.
Yeah.
So
why is turn 1 before the pit lane?
I don't know either. And I'm interested about that because pit entrance is going to be before turn 1. Okay. But it's still like kind of weird. Yeah. And why they numbered it like this. I think they may have wanted the start-finish line in front of the Capitol. Yeah. Which is where they've positioned it.
Oh, that's smart. Okay,
which actually might make sense. It's also going to make for a place where there's a lot of grandstands right there because there's a lot of grass in that section. But there are a few things to note here. It is going to be extremely wide, as Joseph Newgarden noted after he went and visited with the whole ceremony.
That's
thing
good
they did.
news. Yeah.
Great news because that makes for good street racing. Right. It's not going to be a narrow track. If this was a narrow track, this would be horrendous because that's like them trying to think Nashville a few years ago, like them trying to emulate Monaco type thing. But like, there's no way, dude. Like, especially with this circuit. I didn't mind the Nashville downtown circuit. A lot of people really hated it.
I liked it, honestly.
And like the whole bridge aspect and everything, everyone really hated it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. And they're doing a similar thing here that they're really positioning it around all like the national monuments, right? And all of that. And I think that is really cool, and that is amazing for IndyCar. Yeah. Right? I think at the beginning we were really worried about IndyCar being a political stunt here. Yeah.
It still is going to be. I have no doubt it's
going to be. 100%. But like for what it could be for IndyCar, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Like this is I'm still not as high on it, but I'm not as upset about this as a lot of people are. Because I have seen low-level turn circuits like Detroit with only 9. People were upset when that came out. That's become a good street race, right? And a lot of people, a lot of the drivers don't because it's a pretty bumpy circuit. Yeah. But like fans don't complain about the Detroit race anymore.
No, not
type
anymore.
Thing.
No.
And I don't know if this is going to be a staple track, right? 7 is a really low number. But also,
this is a 1-year deal.
It's going to depend on you just make a higher lap count. Yeah. And it doesn't like affect that much in terms of racing, especially when you have enough turns that will have passing zones. Yeah. And whatnot, right? It's not like it's a 1 passing zone circuit. Yeah. So you're only getting it once per lap. Like, right. So I think it'll race well. The lap time is going to be really short. Yeah. Which will be interesting to see.
That's fine, though.
Your drivers are going to get a lot of laps during quali.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all goes. I think the location's great. Obviously, just being around all those famous museums in the Capitol, that'll do a lot for IndyCar. And the pictures are going to be insane.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that. But
for sure.
Overall, I don't know how to feel about it yet. I need to wait and see it when it's built and see the cars on it and like see how the weekend goes before I can make an opinion.
There's really not much more to talk about for it. Like, we'll have to see it when we see it.
And we said the same thing about Nashville. We said the same thing about Detroit.
Yeah.
We said the same thing about everything. Like, it's really hard. And we said this about F1 cars before they went on. Like, we hear all these rumors and you see layouts or you see car designs or anything, but it's so hard to make a decision about it until you see it on track for a weekend or until you see the cars on it and can really make a decision after that. And, you know, that's everything with predictions and whatnot. But, like, specifically for these type of things, it's really difficult.
Right. So, the IndyCar race this past weekend was Phoenix. It was their return to the desert for the first time since 2018, and it was a great race. Let's talk about it. So, obviously, the big story is Christian Rasmussen and his, some would say, erratic driving. I don't think it was erratic. I mean, it was erratic, but like I don't think it was controversial. I think it was overly criticized. I think Rasmussen didn't do anything wrong, and I think ultimately Will Power is to blame for what took both of them out of contention for the win.
Yeah, on both that and the VK Polo incident. I saw a lot of criticism online for both Rasmussen and VK in those situations. The car coming from behind, trying to pass on the outside. But I didn't understand it for the main reason that both VK and Rasmussen have been making those type of passes all race up to that point. I know Rasmussen noted this in an interview. He made that same pass on McLaughlin and I believe it was Kirkwood earlier in that race, and they left the room because they like I know Pelot and Power are trying to wash up the track, and they're not, per the IndyCar rules, they're not side by side. Yeah. So they have the right to do that. But once you get to that point as the driver there's room, so they have the run to bring to come side by side.
Right.
There's not much you can do besides slamming on the brakes to get out of it once you see them move over. So it's kind of like, I feel like Pelot and Power, by trying to move over late, it's kind of blocking, if you know what I mean, right? Because that's moving not proactively, reactively.
Yeah. Also, it's on their spotters to tell them that someone's there.
Exactly. So I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I mean, Pelot said in his interview after that his spotter didn't say anything. He had no idea VK was there. And then all of a sudden, he wiped himself out across him.
Which that's completely different. I understand that. And theirs was in more of like a car shoot, or like a lot of cars together when Power and Rasmussen were kind of by themselves. So
they were.
That one, I know Power, like his strategy to determine was like everything about his race was keeping Rasmussen behind him if he was going to have a chance to win that thing. Right. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, you just can't move up on a guy like that.
No.
Because even as a driver, you have to see he's coming in your mirror.
Yeah.
And
he saw him in his mirror.
They're professional race car drivers. You have to know that he's coming alongside you and he has the run. Yeah. And it is blocking per the IndyCar rules if you're moving reactively to move up on him.
It was just it was a dumb move.
And like I loved Will Buxton and Kevin Harvick's talk about it, and like how the difference, like in NASCAR, that's very much like you have to leave the room.
Yeah, that's the mentality I was going into it with, because like I grew up on NASCAR, so I was thinking like, why would this be VK's fault? Why would this be Rasmussen's fault? And I don't know. Like Drew, my roommate, and I were having that discussion when watching the race. He said that was totally on VK. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, he's an F1 fan, firstly, so like, you can see like the difference, like the open wheel opinion and then the stock car opinion. Yeah. There's definitely a difference there.
And I'm an open wheel guy.
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention to stock cars that much, and I still saw that on the lead car. Because if you got the run and you're coming alongside, it's up to the lead car to decide they're going to move over into that lane and stop that run before they even get any part of the car alongside.
Yeah.
If you didn't move over fast enough, then you're moving over reactively to the run coming, and that is by the IndyCar rulebook blocking. Yeah. You can't move reactively to someone behind you. You have to move proactively, right? And we see that the Indy 500 is the greatest example of that with the snake or anything like that.
We saw that with Ericsson and St. Pete. Exactly. Against Armstrong. Right?
Moving over earlier before, knowing they're going to try to go to the inside, diving to the inside type of thing. And that's legal. Moving over when they're already coming alongside of you is not. So over that, I think we know our opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that IndyCar, well, they called it well because, the lead car crashed in both situations, so they didn't have to do anything. But in terms of the Rasmussen thing, I took a weird stance on this because a lot of people were criticizing his driving on social media after the race, and I took it as a positive thing because if you've been an IndyCar fan for any amount of time, last year, there was nothing to criticize.
No.
That's how Rasmussen drives. If you've been an IndyCar fan for a while, Joseph Newgarden used to drive like that. Like there's a lot, he still does. He just has a little less risk now.
Yeah.
Pato at the beginning of his career drove like that a ton.
Yeah, but they're not as aggressive anymore. Rasmussen still has that fire in him, and I really appreciate it. Like he's easily the most entertaining driver in the series on ovals.
Yeah,
I don't think that's even a debate.
And it's part of he's not a rookie anymore.
Are you not entertained?
Exactly. Yeah. He's not a rookie anymore, but he's still on the younger side.
Yeah.
And once you crash out doing that so many times, you start to back off a little bit. Potter did it, Newgarden did it.
Right.
But what I loved about it is that all these people criticizing him, I'm pretty sure that a majority of them are new IndyCar fans.
Maybe.
Because if you've watched IndyCar because I saw so much criticism online.
Yeah.
And if you've watched IndyCar for any amount of time, you and I, for an example, I've watched Newgarden go through this. I've watched Pato go through this. I watched Grosjean go through this when he first did ovals, right? It's just learning when to back off and when not to. And Rasmussen just has the talent to make it stick.
Yeah.
And if it's going to stick, you're not going to stop. The stewards aren't doing anything about it because he's not doing anything wrong, right? He's just figuring out where to place his car and sticking around the outside. If he crashes himself, that's his fault. It's only happened once so far, right? So I took it as a positive because that's telling me there's a lot of new IndyCar fans that are watching IndyCar and talking about it online.
I don't think they're all new fans though. I'm
not
sure.
saying they're all new fans, but I think a lot of them are.
I think people just tend to forget sort of what they've seen before, and then they see it and for example, NASCAR Carson Hocevar, right, is getting a lot of criticism as well for the way he drives, and people were like, "Oh, this is crazy," and they said the same thing about Kyle Busch 15 years ago, for example. It's just it's a cycle.
I loved Richard Petty's quote on that.
Yeah,
it was his podcast. I don't know.
Yeah,
on a podcast, he was talking about Carson Hocevar. And he's like, that dude's got to be careful because he's not making any friends. But he reminds me a lot of Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah,
in just the way he drives.
A lot of flank for that. But
yeah. I like him coming out and saying that. I don't know. I'm not a big stock car guy, but I see nothing wrong with how Hocevar is driving.
Yeah,
he's not going outside of the rules, and racing's all about being bold, dude. You got to figure out a way to make yourself stand out. So
you got to go for the win.
I love that from Hocevar and Rasmussen.
Yeah, I think it's a very similar situation, so it's interesting comparing the two. And honestly, this weekend was really good overall. We saw, unfortunately, 2 Penske wins for us. Neither of us are Penske fans, but I mean, it was.
Well, I'm
your
Lucas
favorite driver
fan.
Drives for Penske.
Yeah,
but no, I've got no love for them. I'm sorry, but I do like Malukas and Blaney, but I mean, 2 good wins for Penske. Ryan Blaney came from the back twice to win in Phoenix for NASCAR, but I think honestly, more people are talking about the IndyCar race, which is interesting. I don't know.
Do you think so?
Maybe. I don't know. I think the IndyCar race got a lot of fans in the stands and a lot of viral highlights. So
yeah,
it's a good thing.
I guess on my social feed I saw more IndyCar and more. But that's just because, I assumed it was just because I follow more IndyCar accounts and that type of thing. But as someone like you that kind of 50-50 in terms of how much you pay attention, that's interesting to hear.
Oh, yeah, I watch everything, man.
Yeah. So, but I love to hear that, dude.
Yeah.
IndyCar, I think, to be honest, I didn't even watch the NASCAR race. I was busy. I was with family. But, it didn't. It seemed like a great race.
Yeah.
Phoenix, it worked out well for both. And I loved the IndyCar.
I don't know. Phoenix is an IndyCar track, in my opinion.
You think so?
After what I saw this weekend, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Phoenix, at least with the next-gen NASCAR. It's not as fun. I hated it as the championship race. But they have this new tire package from Goodyear that made the tires wear more. And they were running low pressures, and it was really hot, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
But I think IndyCar won the weekend. But it was good for everybody. I mean, everybody got attention. The fans had a great time. We had a great time watching. So I would love to see them do this somewhere else as well.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to say someone won the weekend. I think motorsports won this weekend, dude.
Yeah.
American motorsports. Right. Just them collaborating. More IndyCar fans became NASCAR fans and vice versa. Yeah. I think it was just great for motorsports to show that, there's so much talk about how can IndyCar catch up to F1 or catch up to NASCAR's viewership that everyone's friends in between the two.
Right.
And like there was so much good media. There was a great video I saw that David Malukas went to the NASCAR drivers meeting with Austin Cindric.
Yeah.
And like hung out in there. And like it was just like they were all friends with each other. And
it was a great time for like the two worlds to come together and like learn more about the other, which is always a good thing. We want to see that.
Yeah, I think it was a great reminder that these motorsport series, as much as they're competing for viewership and fans, they're not. And like it doesn't need to be.
Like, when I say IndyCar won the weekend, I mean like they had the better race. Like I don't mean like
yeah. I know what you meant, but I'm just saying like this in general, outside of that previous conversation, like is a great reminder that motorsports is not all divided.
Yeah,
fans can be fans of multiple.
Right.
Drivers and they're not rivals from other series. They're friends, and there's a ton of people. And Fox was a great. They broadcast both races, and they had Joey Logano on for the entire IndyCar race.
He's so great as a commentator.
He is awesome.
Like, man, I don't love him on track at all, but like.
And Hinch and Townsend were in the NASCAR booth. I saw clips. I don't know if they were in there for the entire race, but I love that
they're
crossover.
For all stage 2. Yeah,
okay, awesome.
Good.
I love that crossover, and I love what Fox has been doing there. I think it was a great, positive weekend for all motorsports. And from the IndyCar perspective, as an IndyCar podcast, I think the amazing racing that we luckily produced, right? There were a lot of worries and questions going into it from even the drivers.
Right.
I mean, Rasmussen's talked about, I listened to his interview on Off Track earlier. He talked about how in the first few laps, he had no idea. Like the first 3 laps, he tried to roll it around the outside. It didn't work. And he was like, well, this race isn't going to go well.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to make like 40-something overtakes. I believe an IndyCar record for most on-track passes ever. It was 540-something.
Wow.
On-track passes over that entire race. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is insurmountable numbers. Great job from Firestone bringing a great tire. I think it was just a great weekend for IndyCar overall.
Was. Yeah, totally. I don't think there's much more to say on that. I think it was great for everyone. It was great to watch, and I'm excited for what's next.
I do want to shout you out real quick. You killed it on the predictions again.
Did I?
Yeah, for our here, I'll pull them up real quick. I mean, you had Malukas pole.
Yeah.
And then you had 2 podium finishers. So you're up 10. You're up 10 to 5 now.
What happened on the podium? I had Newgarden and
you had Malukas and Newgarden, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So you're up 10 to 5 now.
Wow, all right.
So you're killing it.
Dang.
I am not. But we are killing it in our what's it called? The Content Creators League.
Yeah.
We're tied for second. And
did I actually have Malukas? Or I never having Malukas. Did I have
No. Sorry, you had McLaughlin.
Oh, so I only got.
But you got Malukas pole, which is 3 points.
Yeah, I got Malukas pole and
I only got 2 podium finishers.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're killing it. But it's okay. Anyways, Aiden's whooping me. So I should probably figure that out.
W wheel, let's go.
But I'm loving the Content Creators League, dude.
Yeah,
shout out to everyone that's in that and what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just great to, collaborate with all them and have some fun. So
yeah, totally.
It was a great weekend overall.
All right, so this weekend was also the Australian Grand Prix. And there are a lot of different opinions on how that race went with the new regulations. So let's talk about it.
Dude, I thought it was the first 20 laps I thought were amazing.
Phenomenal.
I just watched the highlights, but I was so excited to see the lead switch so often. And I think the entire race could have been like that if Ferrari wasn't horrible at strategy.
I know. Yeah. I'm disappointed by how it played out. I think Ferrari lose that race anyways, personally.
Yeah.
But blowing it when you had track position, so annoying. So annoying. It was such a great fight between Russell and Leclerc, and Hamilton was right behind there as well. Russell locked up when going for the lead, which kind of prevented him from being able to get back past Charles. But yeah, it was so good. Like, they're calling it yo-yo racing, which is really funny. But that back and forth action.
F1's gone through so much trouble that they've had to come up with a term for just regular racing.
I know.
That's poor.
It is bad. Yeah, but that's what Laurent Mekies from Red Bull called it. So I think it was a good race. Definitely the beginning of it. I really enjoyed seeing the Ferrari and Mercedes battle, and I think that might be the championship fight. It's still so early to tell. Like, it just takes a few upgrades from Red Bull to be right up there as well. So we'll see. But they finished 50 seconds off the lead. So yet again, Max started 20th. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Charles versus George could be the championship fight this year. Which could be really fun.
And
Hamilton.
I'm gonna come up with something.
Yeah.
I think Max Verstappen's winning the championship this year.
Really?
Because we've seen it time and time again that when there is no clear dominant car, as there was a McLaren last year, right? Like this year, it's kind of a crapshoot for who's going to have the top car. It's definitely between Ferrari and Mercedes right now, but there's still a lot of season to go. Max thrives in those situations, right?
I don't know. It really depends. It's like if someone can get an early lead, then that's huge. But if Ferrari and Mercedes are still squabbling and Red Bull gets up there by like June, for example, and then Red Bull end up winning a ton in June, July, through the fall, then Max wins the championship, right? So I guess you have a point. I hope that doesn't happen. I really don't want to see him win another championship. I'm done. I had to watch 4 in a row. I had Lando Norris last year. Shout out Lando. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Mercedes and Ferrari. I think Hamilton actually does have a really good chance. He was on Leclerc's pace this weekend, which was really interesting. And Ferrari are gonna have upgrades soon, including the Macarena wing. Have you seen that?
I have.
Yeah.
I thought was that not on the car this weekend?
No, it wasn't. So they're bringing it to China, and so they'll have a better chance there. Yet again, Australia was a track that favored the Mercedes because it was a more power dependent track, and Ferrari's battery just doesn't have the capabilities Mercedes does. But they're going to work on that. Also, the Mercedes compression ratio gets changed in June, so they will lose like a tenth or two in performance. While Ferrari is going to keep gaining through upgrades, and Mercedes will bring aero upgrades as well. But Ferrari has the best aero as it stands. Like they were able to stay ahead of Mercedes through the corners easily. It's just on the straights where they lost that advantage.
Yeah.
So it's going to be for an interesting year. But yet again, it's so early. It's too hard to predict what's going to happen because just things can change so quickly. And we saw in 2022, the last time there was a regs change, Ferrari had an early advantage and then just blew it completely. And they were slower than Mercedes by the end of the year.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. This is screaming Max to me. What in the world?
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't know how to turn it off.
Oh my God, you got it. Oh my God, we're keeping that.
What I did.
We're keeping that in.
I don't know where to get back to where.
That's so funny.
I don't know where to get back to where I can switch to me. Hey!
There you go. Oh my God.
I can leave that in. That's hilarious.
God, that's so
I
funny.
hope you enjoyed the music.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I clicked buttons with my forearm by accident.
Yeah.
And I now know to do it again. See?
Nice.
All right, that's enough of that. Anyways, there's your enjoy our little dance breakdown in the middle of the episode for absolutely no reason.
So here's my question for you: is battery drama, with 50% internal combustion engine or 50% engine, whatever, 50% ICE? Oh my God, what am I saying? That's what I just said. 50% battery.
Okay.
Is it worth the extra action? Watching all the engine clipping, is it worth all the overtakes? I think probably it is. But is this the pinnacle of motorsports? What do you think? I think no, but
here's the thing. If you don't make a big deal about it, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Because I know F1 for a year, as an IndyCar fan, that's how I'm coming out of this. Right. F1 for years has been the pinnacle of motorsports, right? So their attempt is to push this car and cars in general as fast as in the cornering and just on straights as far as motorsports can go, right? Which is their brand. It's their identity. It's what F1 is. And I appreciate that, and I love that a lot. But in other terms, if your racing is going to be as terrible as it has been, it's the pinnacle of motorsports right now, not comparative to how it was last year, but it's still the most impressive car built in the world right now. And aside from maybe an IndyCar at the 500, but I think probably it's still an F1 car. And your racing is going to be this much better. As a fan,
It's a fair trade-off.
As a fan, I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I don't think you can really like look at these cars and say it's the pinnacle of motorsports. Although the action is so much better than last year's and the previous generation of cars, so I have no problem with it. But it doesn't scream pinnacle. That's my opinion. But I am so happy that the cars can actually race each other. They can follow each other. They can overtake. It's actually exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Overtakes aren't just like a single lunge and then you never see another thing in the entire race. You have battles for the lead that are competitive. I've got no problem with that. But qualifying is weird.
As like a casual fan, I'll call myself.
Yeah.
I don't care about their brand identity or the fact that it's the pinnacle of motorsports because it still is.
Yeah.
It's still the top of the motorsports world and everything. It's just like it's the cars aren't going to be legit as like the fastest and they can be or like as well developed with these new regulations. But at the same time, like they're built to. I don't want to say they're built to race or built for combat because they're not exactly done.
I mean, a car built for combat.
Yeah, to quote the F1 movie.
Safe?
Quote the F1
Who said anything
movie.
about safe?
Aiden seen that.
Brad Pitt smirk. No.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I get it kind of ruins their brand identity. But I'm not saying they can't promote it like that because they're it's not like 100% anymore, but they're probably still the pinnacle of motorsports.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of, like, car development and car speed and whatnot, that car is still going to corner. If, say, we brought an IndyCar back to Coda and this F1 car, it's still going to beat an IndyCar by probably 10-plus seconds.
Yeah,
so
easily.
It doesn't matter to me. The racing is significantly better.
That's
at least it was at the beginning of the race, and that's all that matters.
And it would have been for the entire race had Ferrari not messed up, right? Like that battle.
Shout out Ferrari.
Yeah, thanks Ferrari. But, I'm still rooting for you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's the one. F1 pit stops. I'm still trying to learn and get used to a little bit because it's very different than IndyCar because of the fuel from the fuel concept, right? Because did Ferrari only pit once in that race?
Yeah, everyone pit.
Everyone pit once.
That
makes no sense to me.
Pirelli still needs to work on that. Like I cannot believe I actually didn't even realize that the first race of the season was a one stopper. But like there was so much action, I didn't even have time to notice. Like, no, but like Pirelli just cannot build a tire that degrades quickly, which sucks. Like I'm tired of watching one-stop races. It's not exciting.
No, because for any like casual motorsports fan out there, pit stops and their cycles create passing and they create the action that you like to see as a motorsports fan. For example, if you are there's these different types of tires, right? So just to use the world language, we've got a hard tire, a tire that is supposed to last longer, and it's going to be a slower pace at beginning compared to the soft tire because it's a harder compound, but it will last longer. Then there's the soft tire. It's a softer compound. It'll be faster at the beginning, but degrade quicker and be way slower towards the end.
Right.
Then in F1, not in IndyCar, there's a medium tire. That tire is somewhere in between the two.
Yeah.
And then wets and all that. But those three are the three you need. No, IndyCar only has hard and soft. What I love about IndyCar is that you'll have cars on the hard tire and the soft tire, right? So the cars will be faster on the soft tire at the beginning. We'll be passing the cars with the hard tire. And at the end of the stint, they will be what they call the crossover point, where the soft tire is now slower than the hard tire, so the people on the hard tire are passing people on the soft tire. Then you all pit, so that all is... in IndyCar at least, it's usually a window, aside from the times that it's a 2-stop versus a 3-stop, usually a window where it's all pretty similar and the whole process restarts.
Right.
F1 does not have fuel. Or they have fuel, but F1 does not have to refuel.
They'll actively refuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's in IndyCar, it's pretty obvious. Once you get to the end of your fuel tank in this rough period, you'll pit. F1 doesn't have to deal with that. So it's all tire-based.
Yeah.
And Pirelli can't build a tire that degrades pretty well. So the soft, if I'm not mistaken, or the medium, which is what a lot of people run at the beginning of the race, can last basically almost the whole race, or to a certain extent. So that completely throws out all of the crossover points, all of the what I just explained with the tires, and it doesn't create racing. Because if everyone's just driving fast, if the Mercedes is just that little bit quicker than the Ferrari and the drivers are equal, which I would say George and Charles probably are, pretty close at least, like the Mercedes is just going to slowly pull away from the Ferrari.
Which is exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened after the battle at the beginning of the race. So they need to come up with that tire degradation. Like, they got to fix that problem.
They do. That is an issue. So I'm glad we addressed that because no one's been talking about the tires.
No.
It's all about the battery.
And that's something I never understood about F1 is just like, because it's one of the reasons I love IndyCar is it's a lot of people call it manufactured racing or anything like that. But I don't think it's not because everyone has the same tire and the same compound, right? If IndyCar was specifically making this tire and spreading it out and not everyone was having it and you're only giving it to the people fighting or whatever. But like that's just the way the regulations work.
Right.
F1 can do whatever they want. Yeah. It's Formula One. They control their own series or the FIA or whatever you want to call it. But it's all under the same entity for all intensive purposes. Oh my gosh, I can't talk.
It's not like F1 as a series didn't have a say in it. They just like went through the FIA to help design it.
Exactly.
Carry it out. Right.
So they have to figure that out. And honestly, as someone who's heavily criticized F1 openly in the last few years, that's something that I don't think for anyone that has criticized F1, I don't think that's something that they've been talking about. That might have been one of their main problems to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think if you were going to eliminate the fuel because of the safety risk of refueling, which I understand if F1's had many problems with that in the past, IndyCar has problems with that every year.
Also, the refueling era of F1 was terrible.
Yes.
So, like, it's been better since then. But the tires are still an issue.
But if you're going to get rid of that fuel aspect, you have to create a way that makes people stop. You can't go a 60-ish lap race. Is that what Melbourne was?
Yeah, 58.
58 lap race and only pit once, right? Yeah. Now, IndyCar's lap, I don't know how long Melbourne circuit is, but a lot of IndyCars, like, for example, Road America is a 4-mile track. It has 60 laps in its race. IndyCar typically does longer races. So you're going to go with more pit stops, but they have to F1 has to manufacture that in some way, or it's going to continue being this type of racing.
Right.
And not entertaining.
Yeah, we'll have to see how long the whole yo-yo racing or whatever the hell you want to call it lasts. Like, I'm hoping it continues to be exciting, but you never know because at the beginning of 2022, we saw super exciting close racing between Max and Charles at the start of the year, and then everything after that until now has been stale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it's good to see it. It's good to see improvement from F1 in that way, but I think there's so many more things that they could do just to make it more entertaining to the fans.
Right.
Which I know, like, all these things we're proposing is stuff that they might not want to do to keep it as the pinnacle of motorsport. Right. But also they've been seeking to increase their entertainment value to apply to the fans, right? That's been something they've openly talked about trying to do. And you're going to have to give up if they view this, like, tire idea, for example, is not an ethical way to fix their problems. You're going to have to give that up at some point to be able to make the racing entertaining.
For sure.
So we'll see how it goes. All right, Aiden, we got race 3 on the IndyCar schedule this week. We were talking about earlier how awesome it is to start the year and have back-to-back-to-back races. And we've got our first, I'll call it first new track. Phoenix was a return track, but first new track of the year of 3, all street circuits, and I'm quite excited about it. We got Arlington this weekend. Great event. It's being marketed so well. Yeah. And I'm so excited to see how it can go. But
it looks great. Like, we saw the track preview with Rosenquist.
That was awesome.
All About Indy posted one as well. Looks really good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Just the location of it around the Cowboys and the Texas Rangers Stadium is perfect. Yeah. It's a big Arlington, Dallas, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of all the same area, and it's pretty awesome.
What the hell is an IndyCar doing in Arlington, Texas?
Shout out the polar bear.
Yeah.
But dude, no, it's such like a, I don't want to call it a touristy area, but it kind of is. It's just a great spot for IndyCar to go. And the track looks good. Yeah. There's that really long, like 1.1 mile straight or whatever it is that people are joking about, which I think will be kind of cool. It's kind of straight. There's like a chicane in the middle of it that Rosenquist seemed to think they could take flat out depending on the bumps. Yeah. It'll be interesting, but I think you can get some good passing through there. It's going to be interesting in that little chicane. I don't know too much about it. Can you go too wide through there?
No.
Because
maybe.
what do you do if you start to get a run after that last corner?
Yeah.
Like, can you pass it to the chicane? Like, I'm really interested to see how that's going to go and maybe break up some runs and see what happens. But
I'm excited. It's really hard to like know what to expect because it's brand new. And obviously, a simulator is not going to give you the same, I guess, what was the word? Idea, I guess, of what the actual track's going to be like and what the racing's going to look like.
Especially not year one when they they've finished building the track now, but when they built the sim, they had it. Right. So like usually, like for example, if you load up Long Beach on iRacing, they're gonna have the bumps in there, but they can't have that for Arlington yet because they haven't even got the track yet.
Absolutely no way of knowing.
So it'll be. I'm really excited to hear the drivers talk about it, see it on TV. I'm sure the presentation is going to be amazing.
It's gonna look great.
I'm really excited to see what this race can be. And I just love IndyCar. So the Arlington GP on Friday, Sunday, with the weekend starting on Friday. March Madness selection Sunday on Sunday. My favorite soccer team, Manchester United, plays on Sunday. I'm stoked. Gonna be a great day. What's the spit for after Man United?
No, I'm an Oasis fan, so Man City.
Oh, but he's a City fan?
Yeah, they're City fans. The Gallagher brothers.
Anyways.
Sorry.
Don't mind me looking back in anger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can't help with the music puns.
No, it's my specialty, dude. It's the only reason I'm on this podcast. My little bit of IndyCar knowledge and music puns.
Nice.
So let's do our predictions, if you will.
Yeah.
I think we should start recapping our predictions on the podcast because we don't really post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like an awkward, like, I don't know, it just wouldn't really fit. But that way we can recap it, keep all the fans, the hardcore fans who listen to the podcast.
All the brickies are going to be informed. All right. So, last week.
Are we rolling with that officially for the...
We already talked about our predictions from last week already.
We did.
Yeah, so we don't even have to do that.
But...
Wait.
But just in general.
Okay.
Like we can... We recapped it earlier. Next week we'll recap the Arlington predictions. Right. Just so you know, everyone who's interested and wants to be, I don't want to say a part, but like, you know, we can recap. We can talk about it. We can see what we did wrong. I didn't see
how my fantasy team's doing. I have to check that.
I briefly checked. I had a really good week last week because I put Rasmussen as my star driver, my double points.
That's good.
And he had like 31 overtakes or something like that, so that helped.
Nice.
All right, anyways, Arlington predictions. Sorry, we got off track.
Yeah.
You go first. Who you got taking pole?
What the hell was a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? We got, all right, for pole, I got Alex Palou.
Yeah.
Alex Palou will be on pole in Arlington. The pullover bear.
The pullover bear.
He'll be on pole. I'm going to say that again for Instagram. What the heck is a pullover bear doing in Arlington, Texas? Alex Palou will be on pole for Arlington, I think. And then for the podium, I'm going to have Award, Palou, and Dixon. I think Pato is going to beat Palou in the inaugural Arlington race, and it's going to be a really good race. I'm excited. And for biggest mover, I got Louis Foster. Shout out.
Wait, so you had Palou, who won?
Award.
So Pato, then Palou, then Dixon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think you said it right. I just didn't hear it right. Anyways, Louis Foster, biggest mover. Not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. This track does fit him. And I feel like RLL's due for, obviously, he had a good qualifying weekend last week, and Graham had a good race, but I feel like he's due for a good performance.
Yeah, he is.
And Pato is due for a win, dude. It's been a minute.
Yeah. He's been consistent this year.
He's second in
St.
points.
Pete. Yeah, fifth in St. Pete, fourth in Phoenix.
He's 3 points off the points lead right now, dude.
Yeah.
It might be a Pato year if Alex Palou doesn't have something to say about that.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm excited to see Pato this weekend. I think it's going to be a good location. You know, Texas, it's close to Mexico. He's going to get a little of that sauce, and he's going to get in there.
So for my poll, I'm going to go with Kyle Kirkwood.
All right.
I think
that's a very valid answer.
Yeah, I think the Andretti car is going to look really good on this week or this weekend and on this track.
Yeah.
And I can look this up real quick. I don't know exactly. I think he's third in point standings, but he's had a good consistent year. Oh, excuse me. He's second in point standings. He's 5 points behind. Pato's 15 points behind in fourth. So it's all getting jumbled up. But Kirkwood's had a very consistent year so far.
Yeah.
It was fourth and third or fourth and fourth, something like that.
Fourth and second.
Oh, he was second.
Second in Phoenix, yeah.
I kind of forgot he was second, dude.
And then Malukas was third with Pato right behind in fourth.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, look at me. I'm all jumbled up.
Yeah.
But, dude, I think Kyle Kirkwood is having – because no one's really talked about him much, dude, because he's he's just kind of been hanging around doing Kyle Kirkwood things.
I discovered an insane stat on Twitter earlier this week, and I'm just actually shocked because I missed the podium. But that was only cramp. All right. I hate when that happens to my leg.
Mid-podcast leg cramp.
Yeah.
Dude,
oh my God.
If you ever think that we're not athletes,
yeah,
we get cramps doing this.
Yes. Yeah,
so
we do.
Don't judge us.
This is a very difficult sport, the sport of podcasting. Anyways.
I'm interested to hear your stat.
Kirkwood, that was his 7th career podium.
Only?
Only 7th, which I was shocked by. I really thought he had more. I just assumed so. And I don't know. I never kept count.
Me either. I just kind of assumed.
Yeah. And 4. Wait.
He's gotten 4th and 5th a lot.
But no, 4 of those 7 podiums are wins.
Yeah.
So that's a really good record. He's never finished third.
Never finished third.
Nope. He's got 4 wins in 3 seconds. That's really good.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
Well, yeah, he's had a really sneaky year this year. He's had two top 5s in 2 races.
He could be in the championship,
which is great. Yeah. Only him and Pato O'Ward have done that this year. Obviously, both top drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a good time for him to get back up, grab a pole. He's a quick guy, loves street courses, and I don't know why. I just feel like he's due for one. Yeah. And I like Kyle Kirkwood. Always have. Yeah, he's kind of my high school friend group. He was kind of like our friend group driver just because we all met him at the track and during his rookie year, and he was a nice guy. So now every time we go to the race together, we got to get a picture.
Reason. Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Kyle Kirkwood.
Awesome.
As my pole sitter. And then my podium, I'm going to go Alex Palou. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Scott McLaughlin, I think, is going to grab 2nd here.
Yeah.
And Scott Dixon is going to grab 3rd.
Yeah. See, Dixon, I like that we both included Dixon in 3rd. And the reason why is because he is so good at new circuits.
He is.
He's so good at just adapting quickly and figuring it out, which is why I just cannot count him out. So that's why we both have him 3rd.
That, and I feel like we're too far into the year, and it's been 2 races, but we're too far in the year for Scott Dixon not to have a podium, dude.
Right.
I mean, he's not collecting wins like he used to, obviously, and he's on the older side, but I think
he's overdue.
He's 100%, dude. He's for a good race. Obviously, St. Pete was on for a good race.
Yeah, he was. He was on alternate strategy. It looked like it was going to work, and then
obviously
falls off.
Lost the tire there, which is not his fault. And then short ovals aren't really his go-to. No. At least not anymore, especially with the way these young bucks are driving. Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah.
But I think he's really good at new circuits.
Yeah.
I threw Scott McLaughlin in 2nd there because I think he's just also a guy who's really good at new circuits. He just adapts to new things really quickly. I think that's back to his time in supercars and whatnot. He's
100%
just kind of that. He's got that skill set, and he's been. I don't have the exact stat for this, but I was kind of looking through his street course performances. Mm-hmm. He's been really good on street courses. Obviously, really good at St. Pete. But I just kind of didn't put that together, and I was like, I think it could be a good weekend.
Yeah.
I said I think Andretti's going to be quick, but I don't. They're the Ferrari of IndyCar in terms of I just don't trust their pit stops. Their strategy is fine. Yeah. It's not exactly the strategy. But
their strategy's wrong a lot too.
Yeah, but their pit stops, it kind of all started last year. It's not coming together.
There were some bad strategies for Herta in those last few years.
Yeah, well, it's after Brian Herta moved off.
Oh, I do want to talk about that as well after this. Herta's F2 performance.
We can jump into that after this. And then my biggest mover, I'm going with Rinus VeeKay. I think
shout out Rinus.
He's doing it time and time again. That he's proven that he can outdrive a car that probably shouldn't be driven to a top 10, and it's the reason he's qualifying low every race, except for last race, obviously. JHR is good on the ovals. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I think this does confirm that it wasn't Connor Daly. It was just especially with Stingray qualifying 10th.
Yeah.
Now, again, I've said we give Stingray a lot of crap on this podcast because on road and street circuits, he just can't.
Yeah, but he's good on ovals.
But he is a good oval driver. I'm okay oval driver.
Okay ovals.
I don't see him getting a top 5 finish, but he gets the job done.
He's not as bad.
Which is why I still make the argument that we don't have any really terrible drivers in IndyCar anymore. Because I think Connor does deserve the spot instead of Stingray and whatnot, but you can make the argument with Lance Stroll in F1 and a lot of other stuff. Even though Lance can drive the car. And he's a competent race car driver.
Yeah, he is.
But there's probably someone that deserves an Aston Martin seat more than him.
Yeah.
But he's competent, right? I think it's similar with Stingray. There's a few guys, Linus Lundqvist, Connor Daly, a few guys that deserve that spot more than he does.
I don't know if people really deserve the Aston seat right now, or maybe they do, but maybe they don't want it.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
Do you really want to be running 4.5 seconds off the pace? I don't know.
Touche. Yeah. Feel bad for Fernando there.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I'm really excited for this weekend. I really can't see that, or really can't wait to see how this track's going to look.
Totally.
All right, you want to talk about Colton Herta real quick? I'll let you lead into it, then we'll close it off with this.
Yup. So, as you know, Colton Herta went to F2. He had his first race in F2 this weekend, which is great. He performed decently well, actually. The sprint race did not go super well. His first time in the car was a bit rough, but he adapted quickly and got P7 in the feature race, which is great to see. He lost to his teammate both races, unfortunately, but his teammate has been in F2 for 3 years for some reason. Ritomo Miata, but yeah. What do you think? Did you watch the race at all? I watched both, and I thought Herta, he had some pace.
Yeah. In terms of F2 this weekend, I had a really weird. I watched practice 2.
Okay.
And I watched the first half of the race highlights.
Nice.
But I did see you finish 7th, right?
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this. And I don't know if I've ever said this publicly on the podcast. I've always believed in Colton Herta as a driver, especially over one lap pace, but not on the consistency.
Yeah.
And he's proved that in IndyCar time and time again, I thought, especially as he kind of, because, he was really, really tainted as this prospect in IndyCar. He was the highest paid driver in IndyCar when he was there, towards the end of his stint, obviously.
Right.
And I never understood it because of the lack of consistency he brings. I think Nashville 2023, whatever year that was, that he led the entire race, literally had the car to beat, nothing wrong, and then while up five,
that was the race Ericsson won.
Yeah, I think. But while up a significant amount, he just bent it into the wall.
Yeah.
And
no, he lost the lead at that point. He was chasing down.
Had he
Ericsson.
actually?
Yeah.
Either way, he never seems to have the consistency for me that could make a world-class driver.
Yeah, I guess.
And now he's still young, and he's still got time to do it. But we were talking about it, and he got to F1, and I never said that he wasn't going to do well, but I said I wasn't going to expect high results immediately.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people expected that, but didn't really want to say it. I haven't heard a lot of people a lot of people were expecting, because he was in line for that Cadillac F1 seat before they announced Checo and Valtteri. Yeah. I think a lot of people were expecting high things of him in F2, and I was like, you got to give him a minute.
Yeah.
Right? I think he can get there. And the inconsistency showed this weekend. After his wreck, you were like, you were right, dude. He's not fit for it. I'm like, give him a minute.
Yeah.
He's learning. It wasn't a bad. He just lost
I didn't say he wasn't fit for it, but I'm saying it wasn't a good start. I wasn't confident. But no, after his feature race performance, I feel a bit better. There's still a long way to go in this championship. He needs to finish top 10, and I think get 2 FP1 sessions with Cadillac, and he'll be eligible for the super license. I do think he'll end up racing for Cadillac in 2027. So
you do think so?
I do think so. I mean, I don't know why they'd be putting so much support behind him just for him to not get the seat.
And this is an entire another conversation we can get into on another day because we don't have time for it right now. But it is upsetting to me that he wasn't just awarded a super license.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Before he got to F1.
I know.
It is entirely because F1 is trying to use that as a way to hold themselves above IndyCar.
Yeah, they want to make IndyCar look bad.
And
inferior.
It is upsetting to me because, not that IndyCar has the ability to, but I don't think IndyCar, say this was flip-flopped, the leaders of IndyCar, I don't think they'd be doing things to make F1 look bad.
No.
And it is, we've talked about this many times of how NASCAR's looked down by the European crowd and European drivers.
Right.
Or some of them at least.
And IndyCar is too, though.
And IndyCar is as well. And I've never understood that.
Yeah.
That's why when Mick comes over here, or when Grosjean came over, or Rossi when he came over, he was talking about how or they all talked about how they kind of had these, it was always viewed to them when they were over in Europe as a second series. They'd hear about it. They'd hear, there was a big crash at Indy today, or Tony Kanaan won Indy, but they heard about the 500 and sometimes about IndyCar a little bit. They didn't really think too much about it, right?
Yeah.
So for that all kind of these former F1 drivers come over and they're like, oh, this is a legit series. It is competitive.
It is.
We haven't seen an F1 driver come over yet and just dominate the series.
No.
Now, granted, the higher F1 drivers obviously have not come over.
Yeah.
And they've been successful. Rossi has a successful career. Ericsson had a successful career.
Yeah.
Grosjean started to make his way. He's still in the series, right?
I honestly forget that Rossi was ever even in F1. He had like 3 races for Manor or something. It was like
a smaller team,
garbage team. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't know. I'm interested to see, and those F2 guys that have come over, Lundgaard, Eilert.
Yeah.
It took them a minute, but they all adjusted.
But it's not like they're all champions. So
exactly.
You really can't say that it's better than F1 or sorry, the F1's like so much better than IndyCar. Like
in terms of, it's not enough to not award super license points. They award super license points to IndyCar, but if I'm not mistaken, like they
actually raised it for this year.
They did.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah.
They're giving more. But it's still less than F2, if I'm not correct.
No, it's more than F2.
It's more. It didn't used to be.
It was tied with F2 before.
Tied with F2?
Actually, I think first was the same. Yeah, so if you win the championship in IndyCar, it's worth the same as winning the F2 championship. I think they boosted that up, and they boosted 2nd through 5th.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, like, say you finished 6th in the IndyCar championship. That obviously you're finishing 6th in the IndyCar championship. That's probably a Christian Lundgaard level finishing position.
Right.
That guy is still fit to drive an F1 car.
Yeah.
So the fact that they weren't giving super license points to that, which in F2 it's top 10, get them, correct?
Yeah.
So, like, and I feel like a 6th place finish in IndyCar is much more valuable than a 10th place finish in F2. But hey, that's just me talking.
It's just crazy because if they had the old system while Herta was still here, he would have had a super license.
Yep.
It's stupid.
Yep. Hey, let's just hope he has a good F2 year. He shows some promise, goes to F1. If he's going to be in a Cadillac, he'll be back in IndyCar in a few years. But we'll see how that goes.
I know. Well, Cadillac, I hope Cadillac will improve because that was a rough first race.
Yeah.
Man.
And yet they still weren't the worst team out there.
Well, no. I mean, they were the slowest, but they didn't have as many issues as Aston.
No. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Aston's definitely more embarrassing, which is good.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think anyone's expectations for Cadillac were super high.
Not at all.
Yeah, considering it took, like, they've existed as a team for a year. Like, yeah.
Also, didn't they lose 2 mirrors throughout the weekend?
They did.
That's just
Bottas lost his left mirror. Checo lost his right.
In the same session?
Yeah.
That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
How do you put a mirror on wrong?
I don't know.
It's essentially, it came from Andretti IndyCar.
Yeah.
They know how to put on mirrors.
Yeah.
It's a mirror. I could probably put on a mirror.
Could you?
I mean,
let's I don't know. We should reach out to Cadillac and have you
be
go
the
over
mirror guy.
Yeah, drive up. We can drive up to Fisher's and see what you.
I feel like I could put on the mirror. I don't
know. We should ask the people.
If they're paying me money to be the mirror guy for the year, I could figure out how to put on the mirror.
All right.
Telling you.
Let's do it. Cadillac, if you're watching, sign him up, please.
I'll be the mirror guy.
Yep.
Anyways, as we've gone more off track than I think we ever have on this podcast, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we'll sign off for now.
There will be a lot to talk about next week, too, with Arlington.
This is essentially what Aiden and I's lunch conversations are like.
Yes.
So I just hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anyways, have a good one, guys.